All right, we should be live. Hello, everybody. It has been quite a while. It's been too long since we've done this, and I've missed you guys. I've really missed hanging out and alive. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking to get started, but I always enjoy it when we do it. So, hello, Heavenly Dreams, Dairy Goats, and Girl with a Plan. Hope you have a good plan. Yeah, for those of you that are joining us, feel free to drop in the comments where you're from. We love to see where everybody's from, and we really enjoy reading those things. Just going to kind of jump in right here because since this is the middle of the week, I'm kind of guessing that not everybody is going to be able to make it, and I don't want to make those watching the replay just like wade through a whole bunch of nothing. So anyways, basically we're going to answer some questions that we got on Instagram and YouTube. We asked for those, and you guys put in some really good questions that I'm really excited about answering because it's some good stuff. We also want to do a little extra special Merry Christmas and give some Christmas presents away. We'll ask some questions. Whoever gets to answer first, we'll send them a Christmas present. We'll do that throughout the video, so stay tuned for that. Got a lot of people in here.
In so many different places. Just
yeah.
Crazy. Nice.
All right. Also, there's something that I'm really excited to tell you about, something that we're a part of, and I hope that you can be a part of too. So we will get to that later. And yeah, hello again to all of you that are joining us.
France, wow.
From everywhere. Just keep dropping it in there where you're from. All right. First question we have came from Ray on Instagram. As a family of 6 contemplating homesteading in the future, what should we be asking? It's hard to ask questions from ignorance. My family has started gardening and we're praying about homeschooling and being more self-sufficient, but animals seem like a big leap, and we only have 0.5 acres. So what questions should we be asking before shifting to a more homestead lifestyle? And that's a pretty big question right there, but we got a couple more questions that I feel like kind of went along with that, so I'll just go ahead and read those too. What to do when you realize you bit off more than you can chew? Some of us jump straight into a life that we're not prepared for. We know it's too much, but we don't want to quit. It's still the dream. And that's where the title of today's live came from. Also, did you start gardening before getting your chickens? Did you garden prior to buying your homestead? So a lot to unpack right there.
We could do like an entire video on just those 3 questions.
Yeah, that would be pretty easy to do. But we've got a lot more we want to get through, so I'm going to hand it over to Michelle to start off.
Oh, the first thing that I thought of when I heard the first question of like contemplating homesteading in the future was like, you kind of have to decide like how tied down you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to, like, animals, gardening and animals are different in that you have a lot more flexibility with growing vegetables. But when it comes to animals, they need daily care, they need to be looked after, and like a milk cow is going to really tie you down, whereas like a tomato plant isn't going to tie you down like that. So
even chickens, you can like give them enough feed and water for several days, and you can go and gather the eggs when you get back. But a milk cow, she's there waiting to be milked every single day.
Yeah, definitely the biggest thing I thought of. Also, like a half acre, you are going to be very it's going to be hard to pack too many animals into that amount of space. So like if I had a half acre, I would get chickens,
rabbits, quail. That's something that people do when they want to get into animals.
Yeah.
Oh, Tracy, no, we are not in our closet office. We're downstairs in the dining room. That closet office is just too claustrophobic, but that's still what I'm using for my office. I actually have the lumber and metal and everything sitting outside, ready to build a new office. It's going to be just like, it's going to be right beside the house, but separate from it. So I'm really excited about that, but it might take a few months to get that done. But for now, we are downstairs. And interestingly enough, somebody left a comment and said that they said, thank you for doing the live over our children's nap times. And that's why we're doing it right now too. Our children are up there.
Yes.
Tyson asked, have you all considered meat rabbits? We have, in the sense of one of our sons, Kadesh, really wants to do animals, and I told him maybe he'd get rabbits sometime, but it's the type of thing, it's kind of going off of the question that we were answering here, like biting off more than you can chew and how to get started and stuff like that. One thing we found out is we did bite off more than we could chew when we started, and we had to take a step back, and we've then kind of been building gradually since then again And so to add another animal to the homestead, we want to make sure that we're on top of what we're already doing before we start something else. So yes, we've considered it, just not there yet.
Yeah. The thing of like biting off more than you can chew, like as he mentioned, we absolutely did that in the beginning. And I don't feel like you have to give up your dream just because you bit off more than you can chew in the beginning. Like you can step back and you can simplify. And one thing that we do at the end of every single year is we look back and we're like, okay, what was the most stressful thing that we did this year? And then we try to remedy the most stressful things.
Right.
And so like for weeding, we made raised beds, and for watering, we got like different things for our watering system to make it easier. And even just like this year, we're taking out part of our asparagus patch because that was like one of the biggest weeding projects.
Right.
And selling the asparagus is too much work now that Cody's at home and doesn't go like into the town where we used to sell stuff. It's like 30 minutes away. We're cutting back on things. And so you don't have to quit just because you bit off more than you can chew.
Right.
Just scale back. Also, like simplifying what you grow, making sure that every single thing that you're growing is the most efficient, that you really like what you're growing. Yeah, I just think that you can absolutely absolutely scale back without just completely giving up your dream.
Right. That's the way I would feel about it. Like, we know it's too much, but we don't want to quit. It's still the dream. And we totally came to that place, and we thought of quitting. We've even thought of quitting like the YouTube thing, because that's a lot of work. But it's the things that we know, the reasons why we started, the rewards that we're going for is part of what keeps us going. But instead of quitting, just scaling back to the place where you can manage it properly and then build up from there.
Yeah.
I want to grab a couple of these questions here. I want to do this one. Since y'all grew up Amish, did you each grow up on a farm? So actually, neither of us grew up Amish. She grew up Amish Mennonite, and I grew up a more, not quite as strict Mennonite.
So it's more like Mennonite, but I mean, I can understand why it's kind of a strain of Amish, I guess you could say. At least for sure me.
I just wanted to clarify that we weren't driving horse and buggies.
Yeah, we weren't driving horse and buggies, but we still lived a very conservative lifestyle. But yes, I grew up on a farm.
But not
learned,
a homestead.
Not really a homestead, but I learned all of my gardening skills from my mom and dad. Definitely. You didn't, but I did.
I grew up in the country. We had a couple of horses and a dog, and we had a garden for maybe like 2 years, something that I was not involved in. We had chickens for like 1 year or something. So I grew up in the country. I learned a lot of common sense. I learned how to take care of animals and taking care of a horse, but like having a milk cow and stuff like that, that was completely different.
Yeah.
I want to answer Elise too. Hi, Elise.
Hi, Elise.
Have you found anything on your homestead that you just do not ever want to do?
Oh, yes. I would have to think a little bit, but I know there's things that I don't want to do. Can you think of anything? Like cleaning up manure and stuff?
No, but I think she's more talking about like, are you saying like maybe not like goats or something like that? That's the connotation.
Gotcha. I have to think about it.
It's an interesting question.
Cody keeps wanting pigs, and I just don't want pigs.
Yeah, she doesn't want pigs. So there's one for you. Okay, let's see if there's anything else here. I mean, there's a lot of questions, but we can't hit them all. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
Is Cody a skater? Yes, I'm a skater. I don't get to skate as much as I used to, but I still.
Oh, and the asparagus. I actually started the asparagus patch that we have from seed, and we have like over 100 asparagus plants, and we used to sell it to a farmer's market, but that was one of our scaling back things that we did when we were facing burnout, is we realized that farmer's market was just too intense for us. Just like the up and down roller coaster, like if it would rain one Saturday, and then we would bring like all the produce back, and it was a roller coaster for me, because I spent so much time packaging but didn't know how much of it was going to sell. So we scaled back, and we ended up doing an online farmers market, but that still ended up being too much work. And this thing of creating content is working so much better for us. It's not, trust me, it's not that it's not as much work. It's different more work. It's just a different kind of work.
And we're still doing the homestead stuff. Okay, so we'll clarify, as in saying something's too much work. Like the asparagus, we sold asparagus through a store, and we sold eggs through a store, and that actually worked out really well. but they were two enterprises that weren't big enough to like fully support something. And only doing those two enterprises after we quit the other stuff, it wasn't worth the extra work that those took for just a little bit of side money, because it was making some money.
Yeah.
But I would totally see those as worth it if you're making a business out of growing
Yeah.
things on your homestead. Asparagus was really good money, and eggs, they did decent for us. So anyways,
Yeah. What does your shirt say?
my shirt says, if I collapse, please pause my watch. Christmas shirt. And we have a new member. Hi, Joseph Ross.
Oh,
Glad to have you on
nice.
board. And for those of you who don't know, we do have channel memberships. There's a couple different like tiers of them, and you get some extra perks when a live video like this. We can see when people comment that are members, and we try to make sure we get to those comments first. So anyways.
Yes.
Shall we get to the next?
Here was a question I wanted to address. Did you garden prior to buying your homestead? So I've gardened all my life, but when me and Cody first got married, we lived in a basement apartment, and Cody put in 2 small raised beds. They were tiny little beds, and that would, scratch that gardening itch for me. But I just think it's so important that people understand you can be a homesteader anywhere. You can be a homesteader in the city where you grow things in containers, like on your windowsill. Me and Cody say that in another life, we think it would be fun to live in the city and see how much food we could grow just on a tiny little porch or something. We don't have any plans of doing that, but I just think it would be fun because I believe you can be a homesteader wherever you live. I really do.
Right. I also think the term the spirit of homesteading. So you might not be able to, depending on where you live and stuff, you might not be able to be just an all-out homesteader growing and raising like all of your food. But the spirit of homesteading is to learn to use and make the most of what you have.
Right.
I mean, that's what homesteaders have done all through the ages, no matter what stage or whatever. It's making the most of what you have. So you can do that anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, shout out to Mrs. Broccoli. Hi, Mrs. Broccoli.
Hi, Mrs. Broccoli.
She asked, I would like to know which wood other than oak do you recommend for raised beds? In Germany, you can't afford oak. It's far too expensive. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you. So cedar is another really good wood. I'm not sure if that's going to be any cheaper for you. Here for us, it's more expensive to get cedar, which is why we did white oak.
We also got rough cut, and that helped us save a lot of money too.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, you can just use like pine lumber or something, but it's going to rot within a couple of years. Otherwise, if you get like composite decking boards, I'd be okay with that. I think actually one of the best options that I'm seeing now for raised beds is some of the metal raised beds that some companies are selling, like Epic Gardening sells them. They're actually, like, I have a problem with people using galvanized metal for raised beds because that will leach chemicals into your raised bed soil. But some of the new metal raised beds that they're coming out with are like, they're not supposed to leach anything into your soil, and I would feel comfortable with that. So you could look into that.
Oh, I saw I'm new of last night after watching Michelle on Lisa's podcast. Yay!
All right, there's so many comments we can't get to them all. I'm sorry.
But we can maybe address them in coming videos and stuff.
Yes, we will
try. We will absolutely read all of them, I promise.
Right. Okay. And before we go to another question, let's go ahead and do our first Merry Christmas giveaway. So I have a question. Whoever is the first one to answer this question correctly, we will send you a food mill. We'll send you a brand new one. This is Michelle's old one, but this
one looks junky because I use it all the time, so it's rusty and well used. But this is like honestly my all-time favorite kitchen tool, and so I wanted to gift one of these to one of you guys for Christmas. Merry Christmas from me.
All right. Here's a question. In our tomato canning episode, what ingredient did Michelle give the title Star of the Show? And we can keep talking a little bit. If nobody gets that one, I have a little easier question, but I think you can get that one.
Yeah.
Derek Purpura. I'm not sure if I said that right.
Oh, there it is. I see it. Liquid smoke. Is that the first one?
Yes, liquid smoke. So Blake Bruce. Dude, they're going fast.
I can't see which one was the first one. Right
nope.
There.
Jennifer Satchel.
Jennifer Satchel.
I thought I saw the other one. All right. So Jennifer Satchel, either email us. Our email is cody@morethanfarmers.com, or go over to Instagram and message us over there with your address, and we will Amazon
Send you a food mill.
Yeah.
I use a food mill for tomatoes. You can use it for applesauce. Like you cook your applesauce and put it in there, skins and all, and it'll take the skins and seeds out. My aunt uses it for grape juice. I'm trying to think. I use it for raspberry jam. I it's just so helpful for anything with seeds and peels and things like that. You cook it, pour it in there, turn the handle, and you have this beautiful puree.
Yeah. That's amazing, you guys. There was a lot of you that got that right.
That's
loving
awesome.
it.
I even had to think a little bit. Like he came up with a question. I was like, oh, I'm trying to think of that. It took me a minute. Yeah.
All right, and there will be a couple more giveaways later, so stick around for that.
Yeah.
Michelle is going to ask the next question.
I would be interested in learning about your home layout and how you chose a layout to build and how you organize your kitchen tools and keep your house so tidy and functioning. I have a tiny old farmhouse and the kids' toys are starting to be overwhelming. We'd like to build a home in the next 3 years, so understanding your way of organizing might be helpful to us. And then some questions that kind of go along with that. Do you have any organizational tips for inside the house as well as outside? And then also, what do you do for self-care and how do you make time for it during the busiest seasons? That's like this huge question, and like that's like right along my yeah.
Honestly, that is probably one of the core things that we want to get across in our channel is how to handle stuff like this with Homestead.
Yes, truly. So, I mean, as cliche as this may sound, my main organizational tip is minimalism. And for us, that means I don't actually have any kid toys at all that belong on the first floor of our home. So the main floor of our home is free of kid toys. The kids have Legos in the basement. They have some farm animals with fences in the basement. And then up in their rooms, they each get like a drawer that they can fill with their knickknacks. I let them keep things like that. But we don't have very many toys. And the thing that I found with toys is that they'll use them for a little bit and then they throw them out. They don't even want to use them anymore because they get bored with them. So for Christmas this year, I asked, like when people ask for Christmas lists, I put on things like science projects, like things that they can do and then they go away. And also like food and, you know.
Michelle is ruthless. Throwing stuff away. She's just ruthless.
Okay, so the deal is like the more you have in your home, the more inventory you have in your home, the more maintenance you're going to have to do to take care of it.
Right.
And so like me and Cody have some differing opinions on minimalism. You're pretty minimalistic, but Cody's also extremely creative. I am too, just in a different way. So he has like 10 hats and I'm just like, you only need 2. But we work together and I try not to infringe on other people's property.
Right.
But yeah, that's the main thing that I would say. And also like just getting your kids to help you purge. Like I sent them after they got Christmas presents, I sent them up to their rooms with a trash bag.
Day after Christmas.
With a trash bag, and they got rid of all the things that they didn't need anymore and things that they weren't going to use now that they have new stuff, just to make so that, you know, there's not too much stuff in the house to take care of. Also with kitchen tools, as for my kitchen, the way I organize it is just by not having much stuff. I have like 3 serving bowls, and this is coming from, I like make all of our own food from scratch, but 3 serving bowls, it works for me. And also like not having tons of spoons and plates so that if the kids use, you know, all the cups in one afternoon, they have to wash one before they can get another drink. Right. And so and things like a freeze dryer, we don't have one. The reason we don't have one is because I don't want one. I don't want it to take up the space in my house. And I just don't like gadgets. I don't even have a vacuum. Honestly, I don't even have a vacuum.
No, carpet either.
We don't have carpet, but I just use a broom and a mop. So
yeah.
And also,
as far as like I was gonna say, like as far as like organization tips, like Michelle, we're different in that like I'm slightly OCD, and like when I organize things, it's like, okay, this goes here and here and here, and like it makes sense to me and logic. And Michelle has a place for everything, but it's not like she has these awesome like organizing ways of doing things.
I don't have all the like the bins and like everything categorized. I just don't have much, so it fits in the cupboard.
For her, it's about being minimalist, and I think that works out really well.
Yeah. And another thing that's really, really big for me, and in this house, making so that I have time for homesteading, is the thing of systems. So anything, for example, we have a Berkey, and we had this issue, like the Berkey was always empty. And I was like, okay, we want to filter our water, but the Berkey's always empty. So how are we going to make this work? Because I can't do everything. And so I just make systems for things that need to be done like every single day. I like add it to the children's job list and to my job list, whatever. And we make so that everything that needs to be done daily is done at a certain time. So the kids have a job time in the morning that takes them like half an hour maybe.
Okay.
And then in the afternoon, we also have a job time where we spend like 45 minutes and we sweep the house and clean everything up. And it's like just this reset.
Right.
And so nothing ever just gets completely out.
It also, like, the kids pretty much never like doing it, but it becomes an expectation for them.
Right.
Like, they know that in the morning they have these jobs to do. They know in the afternoon they have these jobs to do. And so it's not a surprise, like, hey, I want you to go do this. Somebody else wants to do this. I'm going to have to sit like this. If I collapse, please pause my watch.
This was my gift to Cody for Christmas because he's obsessed with running and he loves his watch with that like links to Strava. And he's always like saying what his watch, whatever. So the other thing, self-care. You should say what you do for self-care. Because I think it's important for men to do self-care as well. I think that every single person on the planet is going to do so much better if they take time to take care of themselves so that they can be a nicer person.
The other part of that question was, and how do you make time for it during the busiest seasons? Mm-hmm. And I think, to me, that's the most important, like when I'm really stressed out and stuff. And I don't do as good of a job at like, his is chocolate milk. That's right. Somebody said his is chocolate milk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's my self-care. I don't do as good of a job as just like keeping it as regular as Michelle does. But it's something that, because of how important she's made it, it's inspired me to make it more important. I also, several months ago, kind of all my life, I've kind of dealt with depression, but several months ago, I was really depressed. I was stressed out. I was still working my job and doing YouTube and everything. And so I was going to a naturopath and trying to figure out like what to do. And one of the biggest things that it came down to wasn't that I just needed something incredible or amazing, it was that I needed some self-care. Like, I needed to take time. Yeah. And so I will try to, like, once or twice a week, take a couple hours and go to a coffee shop, and maybe I'll even work while I'm there. I'll take the laptop along and I'll work, but I'm just there alone. I can chill. Maybe I'm not working. I'm just, drinking a drink, whatever. Yeah. But I also run. That's a big thing for me. I very, very rarely listen to anything while I run. And not music or podcasts or anything like that. I really try to just run and focus on my surroundings and just be. And that makes a big difference. But I think it's super important. I think it's important for anybody. And I don't know if it's especially, but sometimes it feels like especially for a homesteader, it's important to do self-care. It's kind of I feel like it's looked down on maybe in the homesteading world because we're supposed to be like the big tough people, right? But I think it's so important because it is a lot of work and it's a lot of hard work. We totally ran ourselves into the ground when we started, and that's something that we have tried to turn around.
Yeah. For myself, for self-care, exercise is a huge one. And I don't do crazy runs like Cody does, but I try to go on daily walks. I also do some running here and there. Another thing that I think is really great, especially for moms, is that like make some of the things that you have to do anyways, make them like extra special. So for me, it's shopping. I don't do very much shopping. I mean, we have most of our food here, but every other week or so, I'll go to town just to grab, chocolate chips and peanut butter and things like that. And I'll also, like, when I go to town, I'll just, like Cody knows, when I go grocery shopping, I probably won't come home for 3 hours.
Right.
And town is like, 10 minutes from our house, but I'll stop at a coffee shop. I'll go walk at a park, do things like that. And also I get up before the kids get up in the morning and I have an hour to myself. That makes a huge, huge difference in my tolerance for things during the day. So, and honestly, since Cody came home from work, we're still kind of figuring out our schedule and figuring out how self-care is going to look. Right. Because now we're at home in the house.
We're kind of interrupting each other's self-care.
Because, like, he'll come in from milking the cow in the morning when I'm having my quiet time. And so we're still getting used to how this is gonna play out. So
I think the office is gonna help.
But I think that mental health is a huge, huge, huge thing in the homesteading world. Yeah. I personally think that the biggest threat to beginning homesteaders is taking on too much and then just destroying relationships because you're just so busy.
Right. And then ending up like the question we got, getting to the place where it's like we're getting burned out. We don't know what to do because it's still the dream. Like we feel like we should quit, but it's still the dream.
Well, and for us, the dream almost went away at one point because everything about homesteading and all the work just would trigger us because we were so overwhelmed. And so that's why we're such huge advocates of just taking a step back, prioritizing and not letting the homesteading community, whatever it is that's like making you feel pressure, not letting them make you feel like you're not a legitimate homesteader just because you're not doing it all.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of comments come in from people that are new to our channel. Welcome here. Really glad you're here. In case you don't know, I'm Cody. This is Michelle. And somebody also asked, Cody doesn't work outside the home. So as of the week before Thanksgiving, I quit my day job and I am full-time doing our YouTube stuff and homesteading stuff. So I am here now and I feel like I'm almost working more than I was before.
Just like, where is it going?
Yeah. But it is better. It is definitely better than working full-time.
Well, and the thing that's different now is that Cody's not like working long hours into the evening like he used to.
Right.
But he's still, the entire day is taken up in the office with YouTube. So,
right.
Yes.
Yep.
On to the next question.
All right. So somebody just suggested some fun updates. Are the bees alive? Did we make beef jerky yet or hard cheese? What are our fun holiday traditions? And also an update on the virus Y that was on our potatoes and what is next year's plan for that. So first of all, let's the bees. So we did a video about that. I think I did.
Sorry,
basically.
I'm distracted by all the comments.
we had 3 hives. We had caught a couple swarms this spring. 2 of them died off. The one was just like loaded down with wax moth larvae. The other one, it looked like it had been killed off by them, and then the mice moved in, were making nests in there. But then the other hive was going really strong. The last I checked, they were still fine. I insulated the hive and everything for the winter, so I'm not opening it up right now. But as far as I know, they're still doing good, and I left plenty of honey in there for them. The beef jerky and the hard cheese, no, haven't done that yet. I'm still
He should be making hard cheese right now.
Oh man, we're getting so much milk. So we just, as many of you probably know, we just had a baby calf, and when you have a baby calf, you get more milk than ever because it's like at the first of the lactation. And for the first 2 weeks, we leave the calf with the mom 24/7. And then after 2 weeks, we start separating her at night so that we get all the milk in the morning. And it also makes so, like if a calf is drinking, they'll often drink just from one teat and not like all 4, equally. And so I'll get out there with the milker and like 1/4 will be empty, and it just makes it kind of a pain. So anyways, the other day I separated the calf at night for the first time. The next morning went out there, and the milking bucket thing is 5 gallons. That thing completely filled up. The milk started going up into the airline. So much milk, but we're getting probably about 4 gallons a day right now.
And if you do the math, 4 times 7, we're getting like a solid 30 gallons a week right now.
That's a lot of milk. We do have herd share where some people get milk from us, but anyways, there's still a lot of milk to deal with. So yes, I do need to make cheese. Thank you for the encouragement, Kimberly and all the others.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Fun holiday tradition. Speaking of milk, Cody made a baked Alaska for Christmas this year, which you have now for like the last 3 years?
It's like the 3rd year, I think.
Yeah, and so a baked Alaska is like a layer of cake, and he made the whole thing from scratch. So he made like a layer of chocolate cake, and then there's like a dome of ice cream. Basically, you put ice cream into a bowl and freeze it, and then you flip it out over onto the cake, and then you cover the entire thing in meringue, which we made from fresh eggs from our chickens.
Mm-hmm.
The ice cream was totally homemade with cream from our cow, and you cover it with meringue and torch it. It was amazing. I have a picture of it over on my Instagram. So
it was really good. There's still a little bit left in the freezer. I'm trying not to just eat it all at once.
So that's actually one of our fun holiday
what we do that for is we do a birthday party for Jesus on Christmas Eve. So that's our cake for that, and we don't do a lot for that, but just kind of draw attention to the fact that it is Jesus' birthday.
Yeah.
And we have Christmas with my family every year on Christmas Day, and we really don't do just like a ton of stuff.
We do have traditions though, like that we do the pajamas on Christmas Eve, and we do a charcuterie board table, like the entire table.
That's with her family.
With my family, and so yeah, Christmas is one of our favorite times of the year, definitely.
Edward asked, did I miss the giveaways? You missed one of them, but there's still a couple more to come.
Still a few more.
Coming up actually in just a second.
Yeah.
Take Alaska. It's baked Alaska, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Should we do this question before this?
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
So someone asked for an update on the virus Y for our potatoes. So I'm actually very happy to report to you that they are not doing too bad. So most of, I'm going to say the virus Y affected half of the Yukon Gold potatoes that we grew, which is probably amounts to about a third of the potatoes that we grew, I would say, something around there. But I've been using those first, and they're very tasty, very edible, and like the cold, damp root cellar is keeping the virus from continuing. And so I don't think we're going to have to preserve any potatoes, which is really good. Is really, really good. We do not plan to use the same garden plot this year for potatoes that we used last year for potatoes, because we did hear someone said that it could, the virus stays in the soil for a while. And so I'm just going to let that soil rest. I'll plant other things that aren't susceptible to that virus. And I probably won't be planting Yukon Gold potatoes in the next 2 years, maybe, just to try to make sure it goes away. Mm-hmm. We're pretty sure that it was the seed potatoes that had the virus. Like, it wasn't necessarily.
They were certified disease free.
They were, but I had other people tell me that their potatoes, Yukon Gold potatoes from that same place, they're like, they have these spots on them. I'm like, yes. So I'm pretty sure that it was a seed potato thing.
But the thing is, the place where we got them from gets them from somewhere else. It's not like they grow them, so we don't blame it on them. We're not gonna not buy from them for that.
Exactly. Yes.
Somebody asked if we covered raised beds yet. We didn't talk a lot about that. We might do a little bit more, but
we did answer Mrs. Broccoli's question about raised beds a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, let's do another giveaway. Yeah. A Merry Christmas giveaway. For those of you that have just joined, and there's over 350 people in here. I just want to say that's awesome. I wasn't sure how many people would show up in the middle of a weekday like this, so thank you all for joining us. Feel free to drop in the comments if you haven't yet where you're from. We love to see that. And we're just going to keep answering some questions that we got on YouTube and Instagram. Try to answer some questions that we get in the chat. And also we have a few giveaways to do. So a lot of fun stuff. So the next giveaway is going to be for this hand hoe right here. This is something that I got from Michelle this year. Since we started doing raised beds, she wanted something smaller to be able to use. And this thing,
I love it.
It's just like the perfect shape. It's a Korean hand hoe. And for the stuff we're doing giveaways for, we'll also put a link in the description for you to find it if you're not the winner. I'm going to ask another question. First person to answer it correctly, we will send you a hand hoe from Amazon, straight from there. So anyways. All right. In the episode about garden tools to transform your garden experience, what new tool did I say that it was nerdy for me to be excited about?
No, that's hard. That's hard. I don't know if I'd have known that one.
See who's really tuning in. I have an easier question if nobody gets that one.
Oh, someone got it right there. Well, was that it? That one.
Okay, they're coming.
Right there. I'm pretty sure I saw. I'm pretty sure I saw the one right there. No. Okay, it's almost right there.
Somebody said the hose, but it wasn't the hose.
Right there.
Hose rack. It was the hose reel. Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll give it to Taylor Shemwell. Yay! So Taylor, you can email us, Cody@morethanfarmers.com, or send us a DM on Instagram with your address, and we will get that sent out to you. Merry Christmas. There was actually a decent amount of people that got that.
There was a lot of people.
I don't even think you would have gotten that.
Got it right. Wow, that's awesome.
All right. I just say I was super excited about it, and I just thought it was a little bit nerdy to be excited about a hose reel, but it is amazing. It has really made a difference.
Yes, it has. Huge difference.
All right. So the next question we're going to talk about is a couple that we got about our YouTube channel specifically. First one is, why did you change your name from Red Gable Homestead to More Than Farmers?
That was all him.
That was all me.
All Cody.
And it was basically, I like to be different. I don't like to be like everybody else. And pretty much everybody else's homestead channel is like something and something homestead or something like that. And I was like, well, we got to be different. So More Than Farmers. And I really love to talk about the meaning behind that. Some people have misunderstood it and taken it the wrong way, I feel like, and definitely don't mean it in any kind of demeaning way.
No,
but for me, it's being More Than Farmers for us is when we started homesteading, what we were trying to do is just all out be farmers. And that's like all we wanted to be. And we burned ourselves out. We got to the place like, I love to snowboard. I love to skateboard. There's other things that we love to do that doesn't fit in the farming category. And if all you do is focus on your homestead and farming, you end up with not having any of that stuff, end up not having time for any of that stuff that can give you joy, give you life when you need it sometimes. So we like to think of ourselves as more than just farmers. Yes, we are farming, but we are doing more than that with our lives.
Well, and the thing too that got me excited about the name was just the thing of, you can be like a, how do I say this? You can be a normal person and like fit in well, you know, have socialized kids, and like you can do all those things and still grow your own food. And you know, you don't have to just completely check out of the culture 100%.
For a lot of people, a farmer is the dude in bib overalls with a piece of straw sticking out of his mouth and can't talk right and can't, you know, count right or anything like that.
The idea is like normalizing growing your own food, like normalizing the homestead life. Like it doesn't have to be something crazy.
Right.
So
I'm going to let you answer the next one. Do negative comments sincerely bother you? Do they keep you up at night?
Well, okay, so this is kind of one of those, if you would have asked me this question a year ago, I would have said yes. I'm a very sensitive person. I do not enjoy conflict. And if somebody makes a hurtful comment to me, I will probably take it seriously. But I have learned to like toughen up, and I've learned, it's like helped me to understand my identity, who I am. And I actually feel like it's made me a much stronger and better person. And number one, YouTube, the comments are wonderful. I mean, 99.9% of the comments are wonderful. Instagram is pretty brutal.
It's almost opposite. Sometimes it feels like it's not, but it feels like it.
I mean, Instagram is pretty brutal. It's a whole different community type of thing. But one thing that I'm usually the one who gets the negative comments because I am the one who's running Instagram.
Also, it feels like because she's a woman, she gets more negative comments, and that doesn't seem very fair. Like that's something. Okay, on YouTube, anyways. I don't know about Instagram, but on YouTube, people often will like say something about how she looks or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't bother. Like,
I'm like, we are not a fashion show. We are a gardening channel, so I don't usually wear makeup in the garden because I mean it'll just sweat it off, you know, things like that. So comments about my appearance, those are annoying. They're very annoying, which is actually why I switched to letting Cody take over the comments. I used to do the comments, and I didn't anymore because I did realize they were weighing me down. Right. But Cody is just, he doesn't care as much about what people think. And I
mean, there's been a couple of comments where somebody said something about me that I was, you know, that kind of hurt, but it rolls off my back a lot easier than Michelle, I think.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is that we have learned, especially have learned on Instagram what to post. Like, what am I willing for people to comment on? If this is something that is going to be really hurtful if they comment, and then I'm just not going to post about it. But the other thing I realized is that if I engage with a comment, if I just read a mean comment and then, you know, I'm like, oh, that was unkind, but it doesn't necessarily bother me. But if I engage with it, like if I have to internalize it and think how I'm going to respond, then is when comments can get to me. The other thing, though, that I've realized that's actually helped me navigate nasty comments is that the comments that get to me are usually have a little bit of truth in them, or like they'll have. Right. So if somebody, for instance, tells me, "Oh my gosh, your purple hair is disgusting," I'm not going to care about that comment because I don't have purple hair.
Right. Although somebody did say the other day that I have a gray beard. I'm not sure where that came from.
It must be odd something with their screen. But usually the things that trigger me are pieces of myself, that places in me that have pain already. And so it's helped me to understand myself better and like, oh, okay. And there have been negative comments that have actually helped me a lot. And just in bettering our homestead, like somebody made a kind of a rude comment about my bread. They were like, oh my goodness, your bread is so underbaked. You need to crank up the oven and keep it in longer. And I did, and it worked.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, and so it's like this mixture of humility and then just like standing up for yourself and being like, you know what? No one can push me around like that. And so do they keep me awake at night? No, they don't.
I think they used to kind of though.
They used to. Yeah. They don't anymore. And Instagram, I mean, frankly, I've just learned not to take it very seriously. Now, if someone sends me a DM, I'll read it and, take from it. But the thousands of comments on Reels and stuff, I can't take those seriously because you just can't.
Right. I want to hit a couple questions. Ben Burns asked if Maddie's doing any better with letting the kids near the calf, and I don't know because the kids just stay away now. Yeah, it was so fun. I mean, at the time, it wasn't very nice, but it was pretty funny. When the first night that we had the calf, we didn't leave it in the video, but the first night that we had the calf, we were all in there looking at the calf and everything, and Kadesh was sitting up on the fence and looking down at the calf, and Maddie came over there and just whopped him right off.
She just took her face and just knocked him off the fence. But it's a good thing because Maddie is such a good mama. And we have had cows in the past that aren't good mamas. Yeah. And then it's a huge job for us. Yeah. So we just make sure that our kids, there's a fence between the mama cow and Maddie.
Totally fine with me. She trusts me, but the kids, she doesn't want them.
And she's fine with me. She doesn't do anything with me.
And somebody asked what we're drinking. I'm drinking Reed's ginger ale. This stuff is really, really good. I do like the glass bottle stuff better for some reason. In the can, they put sugar in it, but in the glass bottle, they use pineapple juice and honey. So anyways, but it's still super good.
I have got garden tea, mint tea from our garden with a little bit of stinging nettle.
Holier than thou.
I'm healthier than you.
All right, one more question about our YouTube channel. Then I want to tell you about something else, and we still have some more questions and another giveaway coming up. So the next question: why do you think your YouTube channel has recently become more successful? What gave your husband confidence to quit his job and do YouTube full time? And tips on how to become a successful homestead YouTube channel. So I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this because I know most of you are not here to hear us talk about our channel. But I do want to talk about that a little bit because a lot of people have asked things like that. And basically what happened from the beginning, we put some money and time into learning how to do YouTube. We didn't just throw spaghetti against the wall and hope something worked. We're not just winging it. We've actually been very strategic in how we do things. And we've been trying. One of the best pieces of advice I got at the beginning was to make the best videos possible. Even if you're not getting the views, make the best videos possible, and eventually that'll catch up with you. And that's shown itself over and over again. I've had so many people leave a comment and they said, we just found your channel. I went back and binge watched all of your videos. And I feel like if we would not have put a lot of time and effort into our beginning videos, even though I look back at those and they are very cringy to me, they're not as bad as they could have been if we would have just been, not trying very hard or whatever. So I think just the thing of always trying to make the best videos possible. And the other biggest thing about it is knowing who we're talking to. We actually have this person that we call Kate. And Kate, this is how old she is and what she does and what she's like. And when we do a video, we try to talk to Kate. And I bet a lot of you that are watching this video right now are very close to who Kate is.
Yeah.
And by talking to Kate every time we do a video, we end up talking to the people that
to our target audience.
Yes, keep coming. And so that's a very important thing. And basically what happened back in June, one of our videos finally took off and it kind of snowballed from there. And so it's been going really well. December's been slower than other months, but we've heard from other homestead channels that views usually go down in December. Just a lot of going on, people. Yeah. And plus, we're not out in the garden. It's a lot harder to come up with content right now. It really is.
Yeah. The thing with YouTube, that was the biggest thing, I guess, that I learned in this journey is that it takes a lot of dedication and hard work. I mean, for the first solid 2 years, we did not see a red penny, not a cent.
Yeah.
We didn't make a cent from our YouTube channel.
It was for like a year and a half till we got monetized.
And we were putting hours hours and hours and hours and hours. Like you were putting in at least 30, 40-hour weeks on YouTube on top of a full-time job.
Right.
And so it is not easy money. They might say it's easy money, but it is not easy money.
Shane says pigs equals content. That's right, Shane. You tell her. Pigs equals content.
Oh, man.
Oh, and then one part of that, what gave your husband confidence to quit his job and do YouTube full time? So in the setting that we grew up in the Mennonite world, it's not talked about as much to like go for a career, like a long-term career. I mean, a lot of people have their own businesses and stuff like that. So that is a career, but especially the way I grew up, my mom and dad always told me that if I know how to work, if I know how to use my hands and do things, I can always get a job. And that's been true for me. And I know that right now there's like several businesses that I know of that would hire me right now if I wanted to work. And so it was scary leaving, a regular job.
A job that you've been at for like 10 years now.
Yeah. To completely go on our own and do finances on our own and everything. But we're making enough money. It's going well. And we made sure we waited for a few months of, making enough money or whatever, and then did it. And it's like, if it happens to not work out eventually, I know I can get a job if I need to. And that might not work for some of you. It might not work for everybody to think that way. But for me, it wasn't like I was a doctor who had put hundreds of thousands of dollars into schooling and stuff. I had a job. It was a good job, but it was just a job. And I know that I can get another job if I need to.
Yeah. But it's going very well for us, and we have no intentions of quitting anytime soon.
Right.
So
yes.
We are loving
very
it.
Exciting.
And yes, very, very exciting.
Congratulations to Lantern Creek Farm. They just hit 1,000 today.
Woo!
Good job.
Yeah.
That's the hardest 1,000 subscribers you will ever get. So
the first 1,000, oh my goodness.
Yep.
Do
you want to hit some of these? We've got some more questions on our papers here.
So many questions, yeah.
I'm gonna go on to the next thing we've got on our paper here. This is something that I want to talk to you guys about. Just kind of decided to do it because we didn't do any sponsorships in our videos for the month of December. So instead of doing a sponsorship, I wanted to talk about something that I'm really excited about. I'm going to read some of it to make it easier. It's about a mission called Seeds of Grace, and it's in downtown Springfield, Ohio. And it's a friend of mine that started it a year or two ago, and he's been going at it basically himself I know there's been people like giving to the ministry and stuff, but he hasn't had like set, like monthly income for this whole time. And they bought a property in downtown Springfield. So Springfield is not like a huge thriving metropolis or anything like that, but it's a pretty big town, and they've got like downtown is sketchy. Like I feel the heebie-jeebies going through downtown Springfield, honestly. But anyways, let's see. They've got several buildings that need a ton of repairs, and their goal is to love God and love people by having a central building for after-school kids programs and Friday night church. They want to have transitional housing for reconnecting mothers with their kids after trauma, addiction, and homelessness, and for housing for young adults aging out of foster care. They want to have a community center to be a hub for the community, a place where they can like provide meals and stuff, and another building to serve as missionary housing. And even with the building still being in disrepair, they've already been able to make a huge impact in the community. And I've been down there and I can see it. Like he said, when they first went down there, they had people like stealing his stuff and whatever. And he's got stuff out on the porch, and like people don't take it. There was like homeless people and stuff sitting on the porch, just hanging out and being nice and everything. And I just think it's so cool. And right now they are doing a fundraiser drive, and I'm going to put a link in the description for their Facebook, for their website, and specifically to their fundraiser page. You can do one-time donations. They would thoroughly appreciate that. Their fundraiser drive is to get like monthly donations going. And right now, if you sign up for their monthly donations, you get entered into some giveaways. They've got like some vacation packages and stuff like that. And I just think it's really cool. And I wanted to give a shout out to them because I really love what they're doing down there. And he's a good friend of mine that I know and I trust. And I feel like, for some missions, some good causes, you never quite know, but I know this guy, I trust him and everything. So
we go to the same church as this guy. We know him personally. If you send him money, we promise money will be used well.
Yeah, this would be going to the ministry. They are whatever you call it. they're in the system as a ministry. So, anyways, I just wanted to give a shout out to them, and I'll put links in the description for that. I think it'd be awesome if there's over 400 people watching this. There's probably going to be thousands of people that watch it later. If we can all chip in a few dollars here and there for their monthly giving, you can do as little as $1 a month, and even that, from several hundred people makes a big difference. So this is the Christmas season. It's the season for giving. So I wanted to throw that out there. Yeah. And anyways, that's all I want to say about that. Let's see. Anything you wanted to do there before I go on to the next question?
There's so many questions I want to answer on it, and I just can't hit them all, but we'll hit these in our content.
How long did it take you to reach 1,000? It took us a year and a half to get to 1,000 subscribers.
Yep, it was a long road.
Yeah. All right, so Amber on Instagram asked for a brief overview of raising livestock, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Somebody else said, cows, and more cows. We'll be getting ours in a few weeks. Financially, I feel nervous, but we believe this is what God has for us and our 5 home learning kids. What's the most important animal on your homestead? Somebody else asked, do you have only one milk cow? I have heard that some people only have one milk cow, while others say they are herd animals and need more than one cow. What are your thoughts on this? So cows are my absolute favorite part of the homestead. And Derek has asked a couple times, sorry I missed it the first time, what a herd share is. So in Ohio and in a lot of states, it is illegal to sell raw milk, but you can do a herd share where basically you buy part of the cow, and then that gives you a legal right to have some of the milk. And so basically we have people buy part of the cow, and then they pay like a monthly fee to get the milk.
So they're not buying milk from you, they are buying part of your cow, and so they automatically have rights to the milk because the cow is partially theirs.
Yeah. And so we do have a milk cow, and it is more milk than we can use. And we do herd shares, and we keep it to close friends and family, because even though it is legal, it's still like you wouldn't want you wouldn't want the wrong fingers getting in there. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
But it is totally legal. So anyways, an overview of raising livestock. We have 2.5 acres in pasture. We did a lot of chickens for a while. We don't have as many now, but we do have a milk cow, and then we raise a beef usually every year or so that keep our freezers full of beef. And that's all we're really doing at the moment with livestock. But like I said, milk cow is my absolute favorite part. There's something about the cow, they're calm, they're gentle for the most part. You create a bond with your cow when you're milking, and it's also my favorite homestead product. So Michelle really loves the vegetables, the berries, things like that.
I also love the milk.
Right. But I just love it so much. And it's something that, since it's illegal in Ohio to buy raw milk, it's really hard to get a hold of it. And so it's something that we can do for ourselves. I mean, if you want vegetables, you can go buy vegetables anywhere.
Mm-hmm. But milk, like even grass-fed, pasteurized, homogenized milk from the grocery store is like, how much is it a gallon? It's like
$12. It's $6 for half a gallon of grass-fed milk.
Yeah. So it's terribly expensive, and then it's not even the best stuff. So
right. And as far as like instructions on doing it or whatever, we have several videos out about that. But what I would say is, if you have no experience whatsoever, maybe it is bigger than you think it might be. On the other hand, it can be a lot simpler. Okay, so it's a big job. It really ties you down, but it's also something simple as far as, like, for sure, raising beef. With raising beef, you can pretty much just put up an electric fence, and they have grass and they have water. You give them hay in the winter. That's about it. That's like literally all that I do with the beef. The milk cow is a lot more intensive because of the milking and everything, but hard to really go into details. But we have talked about some of that stuff in some recent videos and also some older videos. I can drop a playlist in the description of like all of our cow videos. I'll do that for you.
Yeah.
I also gave away, no, I didn't. Okay. Have another giveaway to do. And this one is for a More Than Farmers hat.
Oh, look, will you get goats? Goat milk is delicious.
Okay, we'll talk about that. And then we'll do the giveaway. We've actually been talking about goats. I feel totally fine drinking cow's milk. Our cow is A2A2. She's a Guernsey. And sorry, the comment distracted me. Anyways, it is A2A2, and I feel totally fine on it, and most people do. Michelle has a little bit of issue. Like
I
if she,
can drink a little bit. Basically, if I drink too much, I just start feeling off. But
Mhm.
I know how much I can drink. And while our cow was dry, I was drinking store milk, and I did not feel good on it. I was like, wow, I didn't realize how good I do actually feel on A2A2. So I limit my dairy consumption, but I would really love to try goat's milk and
Yeah.
see if it bothers me
Yeah.
at all.
We've been
So,
thinking of trying it just for that, see if it makes any difference, and it'd be
Mhm.
something we'd love to be able to share with you guys as well. And also, we have like a small patch of woods that I would like to put some goats in there to like clean up the brush and stuff. So
Mhm.
we'll see.
We might try goats. We might.
Maybe. All right. Giveaway for More Than Farmers hat. I'm going to ask a question. The first one to give the correct answer, you will get a hat. All right. So we actually mentioned this in our last video.
This is an easier one.
Yeah. What is our favorite method of food preservation? Flood in. I just know it is.
All of a sudden, like it's gonna start.
I think our
raining.
internet has a little bit of a lag.
Oh,
Nope.
nope, not quite. Not quite. No.
Everybody says freezing. Maybe. Okay, Derek. I saw Derek said it. So
I
freezing
didn't see it.
right there.
Right there, root cellar. Yes.
Derek
there it
Papura,
goes.
root cellar. So
Yeah.
maybe we did say something about the freezing because it is one of our favorite ways. But a root cellar, yeah.
Is my all-time favorite.
Tell me.
So I like root cellaring because you can just bring your potatoes and squash, whatever, in, and you don't have to preserve it at all. I mean, we cure our potatoes, and then we just put them in crates and stick them in this room, and they last all winter. So the reason that we love that so much is just because it cuts way down on the work.
Mhm.
So when it comes to simplifying our homestead and making it doable, if I am just flooded with preserving, like things that have to be canned and pickled and cut up and blanched and frozen, I get really overwhelmed very
Mhm.
quickly. But the root cellaring, like potato digging, even carrot harvesting, squash, there's nothing to it. I mean,
Right.
you dig it, and then you can just lay it out on tables in the basement for a week or two, and then you put them in the root cellar and you're done. So that's one of our big strategies to make homesteading doable.
It is a lot of work up front because you have to build the root cellar, but it really wasn't. I mean, yeah, it was a job, but it wasn't that big of a job. We took a corner of our basement, for those of you who don't know,
Yeah.
and just built 2 walls. And so there was 2 walls to the outside, 2 walls in the basement, insulated them really well, and that's our root cellar. It's technically a cold cellar, but it works really well.
For all of those who said freezing is number 2. So
Mhm.
very close, very close. Freezing
Right.
is definitely up there and one of my favorites.
Right.
So good job, Derek.
Before I heard the question. Yeah, probably is delayed depending on your internet. So Derek, you were the one that got it first.
Yes.
Send us an email, cody@morethanfarmers.com, or a DM on Instagram with your address, and we'll send you a hat. And actually, go to our Etsy shop. I will put a link for our Etsy shop down below, and go to our Etsy shop and tell me which color and style you want.
Oh, he gets to choose?
Yeah,
Yay.
you get to choose. All right, another question here that we wanted to talk about that we got in the comments. Please tell us about what God and homesteading mean to you and how they go together. For some reason, I feel more connected to God when I am able to garden.
Oh, someone said the video must be delayed. They saw people answer before they heard the question. Sorry.
It's just going to depend on their internet.
Yeah.
And our internet might not be the best either.
Yeah.
All right. Waiting for the chocolate milk giveaway. Hey, we have our recipe. You can make your own.
Yeah.
We don't talk a lot about our Christianity, like specifically in videos, and it's somewhat on purpose. Not that we're not ashamed of it or anything like that, but we don't want to try to use our YouTube platform to shove Christianity down people's throats.
Mhm.
Some of the comments that I love the most are when somebody says, "We can just see that you guys are Christians. We can see that you love Jesus," or something like that.
Yeah.
And I really love that. And I'll let Michelle talk about it a little bit too, but like for me, we felt like our calling as parents to raise our children the best way possible. For me, homesteading was that thing. It might not be for everybody. For homesteading, that was what it was for me. And I also just like being in the country, being outdoors, everything like that. That's where I feel closest to God is, especially when I'm like out in the woods, out in nature and stuff.
Yeah.
So
for me growing up, like I always found working with the soil so comforting. And like I didn't have friends who thought that. I mean, I was definitely the oddball. I wasn't looked down on, but I was the oddball in that I just loved gardening. And so I've always just felt like when my hands are in the soil, when I'm growing food for my family, I'm partnering with God and I'm like taking part in a miracle. I think the miracle of things growing, like the fact that you can put a seed into the dirt, something so simple on our part, God multiplies that and blesses people with that and blesses us with that. And like the abundance blows me away every single year. Even just like walking down into my root cellar and seeing the abundance, like my mind is blown. Like farming is hard, but yet it's so easy. You water a plant and you keep the weeds away from it, and it gives you like food. It's
right.
crazy.
It's amazing.
So yeah, and as far as like us talking about our faith, what we hope is that you can see something different in us. And I personally feel with evangelism, like showing is far more powerful than even telling.
Just like Ben Burns just said, preach and use words if
Yes.
necessary.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Amen. Amen. Yes.
So, do you want to go over any more questions?
Trying to see. There was a few of them that I wanted to hit, and
Monday meal prep. There's been a lot of questions.
There's so many questions, and they're great questions. I wish we could hit them all, but we will read them all, and then we will like
try to work them into videos and stuff like that. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's all we had down on our paper. We really appreciated each and every one of you that joined us. Over 400 people watching. I think that's crazy.
It's amazing.
It's overwhelming for us to see that happening. And also, thank you for asking that, Tom. Did you order your seeds for the year yet? Because I did want to say what our next video is going to be about. We are going to do our video about our goals for this next year and everything, go over our dream board just like we did last year, what our goals are about and everything. That video should come out, I think it's January the 6th, whatever Saturday that is. And then probably next after that one is going to be our seed order video. So we have not ordered our seeds yet, but we are going to do it soon. So
somebody said, are the bees gone for good? No, they are not.
We still have one.
Yes, we still have one hive that is thriving, and we hope to grow that. We're still just learning. Yeah. We're in the learning process with bees. They're pretty complex, honestly.
Yeah, we have one hive that is thriving, and we have swarm traps. So we'll catch more swarms next spring, right?
Pigs, maybe.
Thank you so much, each and every one of you, for joining us. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see you in the next video.
Yes. See ya.